Hey everybody, it's been a while since I made a video, but I got a new machine here and I'm going to install a DayZ Epoch server. I'm going to walk you through it. I've got notes over here. I'm going to upload this to GitHub so you can download it and use it as a reference. So let's get started here. First step, you always remember to run Steam as an administrator. That's a common source of session lost errors. So make sure you run it as an administrator. Second thing you want to do, which just burned me, is go into your library and you want to, this assumes that you've already had Arma 2 and Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead installed on your machine. Okay, so go into properties of Arma 2, go into install files, verify the game files, and then you're going to hit the play button to run it all the way up to the options screen. I'm convinced at this point that either the Steam installer or Arma 2 corrupts its own files, because I was able to log on to servers and play, but I tried to install my own server and I kept getting session lost, and I was dumbfounded because I tried all the troubleshooting steps I could think of and it ended up being this. So I've already got my client running down here. Just to speed things up a little bit. And there's an ongoing issue with Windows 11 that for some reason it drops your, it likes to swap out your audio devices. So here I've got my Yeti microphone. I tried to record this before and for some reason it swapped over to my Astro Mix amp. I have no idea why, but do that. Verify your game files, run it up. And then what you need to do is download a bunch of stuff. There's a big list of stuff here to download. You need PBO Manager. You need 7-zip. You need Notepad++. You need to if you don't, you should already have the client files, but if you don't, download the client files, download the server files from epochmod.com. You need to get this MySQL installer. You want the latest version. Right now it's 8.0.34. If that updates after this video is made, fair enough, just get the latest one. This is the offline installer, this one here. If you want to keep a copy of the files on your computer, fine. Otherwise, just download this one. It'll work. I use HeidiSQL. Some people use MySQL Workbook. Go to Downloads, Install, grab the installer, download it. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do here, once you've downloaded the client files, not the client files, the server files, you're going to, you got to hit this more options here on Windows 11 for some reason. Password is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure I did that right. You want to install all of these C++ redistributables, the Visual Studio files. You might notice add remove programs. They'll be in this list here. Where are they? Here. This machine came with this pre-installed, the 2015 to 2022 update. So you can, if that's the case, you can skip this one and this one. What'll happen is it'll tell you it's already installed. See, it says it's already installed, so you can skip 2015 and 2017 if you have this. Otherwise, install all of these. Okay. So we're going to start copying files over right to our Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead directory. So go to C drive, program files x86, Steam, Steam apps, common, Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead. I'm going to drag and drop this and make a shortcut so I can just open it quickly. Get that up here. And you want to open the downloads. These files here. So you need to copy over. See, I already have Epoch installed. If you don't, download it, unpack it, and install it into this directory. Pull over the server, copy here. This has the Hive ext.dll and the add-ons folder with the server PBO in it already. DLLs, this is the same one that was in that folder, so you can just delete this one. You need these four. These interact with the database. The old binaries are for the old 5.7 server, which we're not using. We're using the version 8, so don't worry about the old ones. Use these new ones. Copy all of those over. And then you want to copy the keys over, the Epoch key, into the key folder here. You want to choose a mission file. We're going to do good old Shinaris. If you're new to installing servers or you're having trouble, some of these maps, especially Sourland, they're full of config errors. And when you go to check your RPT, it's going to look like you've got a bad install. So use Shinaris or NAP, I think, is really error-free. Also, Namalsk, I believe, is pretty error-free. So we're just going to do Shinaris. And then if you should have installed PBO Manager, right-click, Windows 11, you have to hit Show More Options. Go to PBO Manager and pack it into a PBO. Delete this. Now we need to copy over the server config folder to the root of C, which I've already done here. This is for the prior attempt. We'll do a new one. Whoop, this one here. Okay, now we're going to edit the files in this folder. So we're doing Shinaris instance 11. So all of these other batch and config files, you can delete them. So click there, do a shift click here, delete these. Click here, go all the way down to where Rugen is, shift click, delete all those. You should have 4 files here in their BattleEye and users folder. Okay, now we want to edit the batch file. And the first thing we're going to do is add this BE path. I don't know that it's necessary unless you're using an alternate path, but we'll put it in there anyway. So step number 2 in, well, step 3 sub 2. We'll go to right in front of the config, paste it, put a space there, save it. Now you need to link or put up put the path to the server executable. So go back into your Arma 2 operation arrowhead and go to scroll down, and you see the server executable here. If you don't see .exe here, go into your folder options, go to view, and then uncheck that. And then also you want to show hidden files, because you're going to need to see the app data folder. Okay, so right click server executable, go into properties, copy this where it says location, and then go into the batch file. Here's the executable, they already have it in there. Put a backslash, go back one, paste. And now something to keep in mind is if you have white space like this, you need to put this whole thing in quotes. What'll happen here is if I try to run this, it'll say you can't find C programs. You get cut off after program because there's white space there. So put this in double quotes if you have white space in your directories. Save it, and now run it. If you're doing a LAN server, Now you see the second error you get here. You have to link the, this is a very common error you see with people reporting. Add-on LAN requires add-on Shinaris. You have to link the Arma 2 add-ons folder. So Arma 2 add-ons. Here's Arma 2. It's this folder right here. You have to link it in this batch file. So go back to the instructions up here. Where is it? Here it is. Step number 5. You want to copy this whole thing from C to this semicolon. Go into your batch file. Go all the way to the end where you see the mod, and just put it right after the equal sign and then paste it in there. So what you should be seeing now is this. All right, save that. And done. Now you can move this folder around. Just stick with the stock install if you're new, or if you are having problems, you can move it, but you have to change all of these directories to point to the new wherever you put your folder at. But we put it at the root of C, so leave it there. And let's test it. The error should go away, that missing Shinaris PBO thing, and we should get default BattleEye stuff loaded. There we go. This is a correctly started server. You got the BattleEye server started. Everything's good to go. Close that. Let's see. Okay, so what you want to go into your config file, and if you want to change your server name, go ahead. I'm going to call it DayZ Epoch Test Server. Change your admin password. This, if your server is public and people can access it, change this. Don't leave it as change me. Change it to something, you know, bunch of bullshit with, you know, special characters, that kind of crap. Do that, okay? The rest of the stuff, leave it alone. Everything else is correct in there. All you want to do is change your test server. I'll leave that password alone. Need to go into BattleEye, go into the beserver.config, and change this password here. If it's a public server, absolutely change this, make it complicated. You know, put a bunch of shit in there, and then save it. This is going to be your password for your remote console. Make sure you change that, otherwise people can log into your server and fuck with it. Okay. Let me check over these instructions real quick. So remember, if it's a LAN server, you have to use port 2302. Some of those batch files for the other servers use different port numbers. It has to be 2302 for a LAN server. Remember that. This is good. Let's go move on to database. So we need to install the database server and Heidi SQL. Go into downloads where you downloaded the MySQL installer. Double click on it, hit yes. Server only is good. Execute. Next, next. This is a server computer. This is all good. Default port. You're going to use this top option here. Use strong password encryption. Caps lock is on. Make sure you put a good password in here. This is obviously a weak password because I'm just doing a demo. This should say strong. I'm not going to add a user because I'm going to do that with Heidi SQL. I like to start this as a the Windows service, but I'm going to take it off. I'm not going to have it start on startup. I like to manually start it. Hit next. Yes, grant full access. Execute. Finish. Next. Finish. Okay, server should be running. Go into services. Hit M. It's running. This is where you would start and stop it. Now I noticed, let me go ahead and install Heidi SQL, but I want to, one of the steps you can skip now, the event scheduler seems to start up automatically. Desktop icon, okay. I don't want the samples. You want to associate SQL files, yeah. Get rid of the automatic updates, install. I'm going to pin this to taskbar. Okay, now you need to create an instance here. Hit new session, just call it DayZ. Root password, again, no bullshit, put a good password in there, don't fuck around. People can log into your database and screw with your server. Put a good password in there. Open it up, and we need to create, let me do that. Create a database, so right click where it says DayZ. Create new database, and then go into your we're going to go into C drive. Where are we going? This folder here, the DZE server config folder. Open up your hive ext.ini. Now down here is your database stuff. Right, we're using MySQL. This is our standard port, default port. This is your database name. You can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to use this. Okay, so we've got a database created. Now we need to create a user. Go up here, add, and your user, you can see is here, username. I'm just going to use the stock one. You can use whatever you want. This thing has an automatic password generator. You can use that. Put that in here. Password. Save it, and then you need to make sure that's selected. You need to add an object. You need to add the database itself to this user. Give it full permissions. Save it. Done with the users. You need to populate this database. So go back into your downloads. This file here, save it. This is your base maintenance stuff. It's turned off by default, but if you want it at 14 days, you could put it at 14 days. Time static means it always starts at this hour, which is 1 o'clock, whatever. You can set it up however you want. Stick with the defaults if you want. Go into your downloads again. Server files, go to SQL. You want to run epoch.sql. Make sure this database is selected. Drag this over into your query tab. I got a couple here. Okay. And you're going to run it. Okay, don't worry about the warnings. New tab, and then the add recommended at MySQL events. Run that. Don't worry about the warnings. And then you're going to go refresh here. Did it populate? Here we go. This is a populated database. We got all of our, you can go into data. These are all of the columns with character data, object data. Fair enough. Now, what I want to do is I want to verify that my scheduler is running. Here it is, step number 7 down here. Copy this, put it in your query tab, and then run it. and you see it's on. So I think with the version 8, it's on now. Before, you had to put this step 8 down here. You had to go into program data. So go to C. Program data is a hidden file. So remember the folder options, show hidden files. Go into MySQL 8. And then here, under this MySQL D, we used to put this line. Where is it? It's here. This. Come on. Event scheduler equals on. We used to put that here, but it looks to me like it's already started. I think maybe the Windows or the MySQL 8 update automatically schedules it or turns the scheduler on. So I guess. So you can skip that step number 8 there because it's already done for you. Okay, so we're done with the database. It's populated. It's running in the services. Go ahead and close this. You don't want to save your queries. And now, whoa, let's see if we can log on. So I need to close this. Let's go to this folder. I like to take this batch file and put a shortcut, right? So I'm going to start the server. My client's already running, so usually you have to start client before you start the server, but I notice on Windows 11 it doesn't seem to make a difference. It's down here. This is our console. Okay. There it is. If you don't see that pop up, you probably have to go into, it should, now the first time you do this, it'll ask you to unblock it. It didn't do that for me because I've already unblocked it, but if you go into the Defender firewall, you can see that you have ARMA 2 operation, ARMA 2 OA listed twice here. One is the server executable and the other is the client executable. So go to change settings and you can go to details. You can see this is the server executable and we're allowing connection here. Also check port 3306, which is your MySQL. Right, TCP 3306, allow connection. I don't know if you used to have to unblock DLLs sometimes by right clicking on them. I haven't seen that. So let's try to log on. Looks good. Monitor something. This is my first 2K monitor. Yeah, very high 2K, great. Never played Arma 2 in 2K before. This video will be available in 2K. The last step is to check your RPTs and make sure that they are error-free. Okay, so you can see in the data in the server console we have streaming data. This is mostly just vehicle publishing. Go into your C drive, users, whatever your computer name is. Go to app data. Remember, this is a hidden file, so you have to do the folder options. Local, ARMA 2 OA. Edit with that. It did the server RPT here. So this is, don't worry about this error right here. That's part of ARMA. That's nothing to do with the mod. That's just some bullshit variable crap. Everything else looks good. I'm not going to use this one. I don't know that that one is correct. Maybe it is, but I don't know. That's the one in here. When you start the server, it auto generates. You got your server log. Right, it's just telling you that crap, whatever that crap, you know. You got your Hive log, server RPT. This was from a prior install that I was dicking around with. We're clear here. Go all the way up to where it started. Right there. Here's where we started the server. So every update, it's just updating a bunch of classes, and then we've got this server error, no identity. It just means you're not logged in yet. It's just something that the server does. Don't worry about these errors. Everything else looks good. We're running events, publishing vehicles. Everything else is good. This is a clean install. It's ready to be modded. So that's it for this video. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to follow this up with like a dedicated box install. This is usually what you would do for a LAN server, and that's it. Make sure that one last thing. If I didn't say this before, I don't think I did. Make sure it says address LAN down here. If you do internet, it won't show it. You need to. This is a LAN server, okay? Remember, port 2302 has to be. That's it for this video. Thanks.